Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I am so grateful that you are here. My name is Nikki and I channel messages from movies and TV shows using tarot and oracle cards. And I'm excited and honored to be doing a reading for you today. In today's video, I will be channeling messages from episodes of The Wonder Years. And my sister Lacy has stepped forward to choose 3 episodes from this series. And it was actually her idea to channel messages from the show Wonder Years, which I was really excited to revisit these episodes because they are so hilarious and funny. So if you have not seen The Wonder Years or you've been wanting to revisit it, if you've watched it in the past, highly recommend. It's on Hulu. And I believe there are 6 seasons. So thank you again to my sister Lacy for collaborating on this video with me, choosing the episodes. Also, my sister's a very amazing podcaster. She does the Slumber Party Massacre podcast, which I am a part of as well, along with 3 other amazing women, Rebecca, Carly, and Heather. She also does another podcast with her partner, Dan Chase, called Cut to the Chase. And all of the podcast episodes are on Spotify if you'd like to check that out and give it a listen. So how the reading will work. In the next part of the video, you will see 3 different piles. Meditate on the pile that is speaking to you and go to the timestamps that I provide down below to go directly to your reading from there. Also, a lot of very general messages come through. So if you find something doesn't resonate, don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. So let's jump into some channeled messages from episodes of The Wonder Years. Hey pile number 1, welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you are here. Your episode from The Wonder Years is from season 2, episode 11, and it's called Nemesis. Starring Fred Savage, Danica McKellar, and Crystal McKellar. The synopsis says, now that Kevin is back together with Winnie Cooper after hurting Becky Slater's feelings, Kevin thinks his problems are behind them, until he remembers how he ridiculed his friends, including Winnie, behind their backs to impress Becky, who doesn't seem too happy to have been dumped. Okay, pile number 1, let's see what your cards have to say. And disclaimer, there will be spoilers that come through the reading, so if you've not seen this episode of The Wonder Years, just be mindful of that as we move forward. And also, a lot of very general messages come through the reading, so if you find that something doesn't resonate for you, don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. Your first card is, I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. Okay, so in this episode of The Wonder Years, Kevin Arnold, played by Fred Savage, is dealing with the aftermath of having broken up with Becky Slater, played by Crystal McKellar. And fun fact, Crystal and Danica, who plays Winnie Cooper in the series, are sisters in real life. And I actually did not know that until I started researching the actors for this video. And I think that is so cool. But in this particular episode, all of the kids are in class while their teacher, Mrs. White, played by Wendell Meldrum, is teaching them about Aphrodite and how hath no fury like a woman scorned. Kevin is in love with Winnie, and they keep stealing glances at one another during class. Becky Slater is sitting next to Winnie, so when she moves out of the frame, the camera focuses on Becky, and she is literally glaring at Kevin as she is still bitter from him breaking up with her. So I feel a lot of energy around having your heart broken, pile number 1. And this could have happened a while ago, or it could have happened more recently. Either way, I feel the energy of someone who has hurt you deeply. Some of you are in the process of healing your heart from this right now. And some of you, I see the memories of this heartbreak, they're resurfacing. And I see how some of you have buried these memories very deeply. So having them resurface hasn't been easy. But deep healing is taking place, or this is the energy you're moving into. Doing meditations for your heart chakra could be beneficial for you at this time, as this will help to cleanse the energy around and within your heart. Call upon Archangel Raphael, as he is amazing at bringing healing when our hearts have been broken. As the card states, it's also important to create mindful moments throughout your day. This is to remind yourself that you are love, especially if you're experiencing a time of deep healing and feeling into some painful emotions. The card also states how miracles are natural. So I also sense the energy of once believing you would never get over this painful experience. Or it could still be a belief you're holding on to. I too thought I would never heal my heart over someone from my past. It took 15 years, but I was able to heal myself and finally let go. And if I can do it, so can you. So know that your heart is in the process of healing right now. And this goes for those of you at the beginning of this process too. Healing is a miracle in itself, and your soul knew there would come a time on your journey where you would start doing this very important healing work. And you know how to heal yourself naturally, as you've done it before in many lifetimes. It's safe to let this healing in, pile number 1. Your next card is, when I lean on the faith of the universe, peace can become real. Okay, so with this card, I'm drawn to the 2 owls here. So I'm feeling strong soul connections. And I still feel a similar energy from the last card that was drawn about heartbreak. In the episode, Kevin's internal dialogue is from his adult self, narrated by Daniel Stern. So when you watch episodes of The Wonder Years, you actually experience what Kevin does, not only from his younger self, but also his wiser adult self. He talks about how he feels bad for breaking up with Becky, as he really did like her. And it shows a flashback of Becky at his house, and he's making her laugh hysterically by doing impersonations of all of their friends. Then, after he breaks up with her, she plots to make his life hell. And Kevin has absolutely no peace whatsoever because he's worried about what Becky is going to do. So Spirit is showing me how some of you are worried about the outcome of a relationship or a friendship that just ended. I see some of you wondering if the person is coming back to reconcile. And I also see some of you wanting a certain person to leave you alone. Well, in both cases, Spirit is saying to have faith that all is working out as it's supposed to. Don't let this situation cause you to lose your peace. You can't control what the other person does. And there is power in sending the person loving energy, though. I once read this story about this woman who had $5,000 stolen from her. Yes, she was very hurt and angry, but she chose to forgive the person who stole from her. And miraculously, she received a call out of the blue from a mutual friend of theirs to meet up. It turns out the person who stole from her gave their mutual friend the money to give back to her. And this is the power of forgiveness and loving energy. I'm also seeing how everything wasn't always bad between the two of you, this person, that's their energy's coming through very strongly in the reading here. There were moments where you laughed hysterically together, like Kevin and Becky do in this episode. So remembering the good times can help forget about the bad times sometimes. I'm also feeling a specific message for some of you that won't resonate with everyone here. I feel there are couples who are separating or divorcing, and there's been a fight about who gets to keep an animal. I can feel the immense love you have for this pet. And Spirit is saying that no matter what situation you're in, to keep your intention focused on your faith. Believe that everything is working out for you and that you're divinely protected through it all, no matter what. Your next card is the Moon in reverse. Okay, so with this card, I feel an energy of confusion and deception. Or not all the information is known at this time. In the episode, Kevin walks home with Winnie after school and learns she is sick. She's out of school for a week, and Kevin brings her homework every day after school. And this is a time where they really connect with one another. But back at school, Kevin finds out that Becky has told everyone about the funny impersonations he has done of them. And they're angry at Kevin for making fun of them behind their backs. His friend Paul even comes up to him in the hallway and yells, "I dance like a sea monkey!" And Kevin's like, "Paul, it was a joke." He also said some hurtful things about Winnie and how it looks like she never takes the hanger out of her clothing. And he's scared Becky is going to tell her what he said about her. So I feel some of you have learned about something someone said about you behind your back. And it's caused a lot of pain. Or there's a person who is speaking about you behind your back, but you're intuitively picking up on it. I'm also seeing some of you have even had dreams about it. My guides are also pointing out the full moon that just took place on August 30th. And I'm seeing strong dreams coming through about letting go and releasing what no longer serves you, and being shown the truth as to what that is. Spirit is also showing me that you're not sure what the right thing to do is at the moment. But rest assured, the answers are coming, and you will be shown the truth, because the energy on the planet is rising in vibration where nothing inauthentic can thrive any longer. Your next card is the Knight of Swords. So this knight is very direct and forward in their approach. In the episode, I'm being shown how Kevin confronts Becky after he learns she has told everyone how he made fun of them. It's a very funny scene, as it's like a Western standoff between them. But Kevin speaks his truth to her and asks her why she told everyone about him making fun of them. And she tells him how it really hurt her that he was only going out with her to get closer to Winnie. So Spirit is showing me that you may have confronted someone about something, or you're thinking about doing so. Or you're being called to draw more of the Knight of Swords energy to help you be more direct in your approach with something. Either way, the air needs to be cleared. In the episode, when Kevin talks to Becky, he tells her he is sorry and that he really did like her when they were together. And he asks her why she didn't tell Winnie what he said about her. She says that Winnie's her friend, and she would never hurt her like that. But also how she did tell everyone in the school what he said about Winnie. So it's in that moment that Kevin knows Winnie is going to learn the truth eventually. And the message with the Knight of Swords is also to not be hasty before making a decision, as it's important to think things through before doing something impulsive. Spirit is saying to not allow yourself to be blinded by potential consequences of certain actions. Your next card is Light. And on the bottom here it says, the Fairy Queen of Light comes to shed love and light onto your current situation and to remind you that light can penetrate the darkness. And I'm also kind of drawn to this streak of light that's coming through your reading here. So this is just like another confirmation of light. And I love that. So with this card here, in the episode when Kevin learns that Becky has told the entire school about the awful things he said about Winnie, he gets a sick feeling in his stomach. And the roles are reversed between him and Winnie. There's a scene where he's laying in bed while his mom is taking his temperature, and he tells her how all the kids at school are mad at him, right? And she tells him that, yeah, it wasn't nice what you said, but I think that your friends will eventually forgive you. And right at that moment, this is when Winnie shows up at Kevin's house to see if he's feeling better. As soon as Kevin's mom leaves the room, Winnie gets very angry with Kevin, as she has learned what he has said about her. She proceeds to make fun of him and starts bouncing on the bed to make his stomach even more queasy. And it's in this moment that light has shined on the final grain of truth wanting to come into the open here. So I feel very strongly like some of you have the gift of helping truth come to light. And I'm actually being shown another show here called Catfish. And at the end of each episode on that show, there's this guy named Neve, and he has various partners that help him, but they always manage to get the catfish to expose themselves. So truth is coming in your situation in one way or another, pile number one. But Spirit also wants you to know that the light isn't only shining on the darkness. It's also shining on the beauty of the situation and the lessons learned. Kevin learned how the power of his words could hurt people, and how some things that are meant to be a joke can still hurt people as well, and how it's important to communicate with someone if their words hurt us in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter if it was intended to be a joke. If it hurts someone, it's important to recognize that and validate the emotions being felt, whether that's you or someone else. Your next card is Motivation. And on the bottom it says, when spring approaches, the flower fairies urge you to spring into action. If there's something you've been merely thinking about doing, they say get busy and do it. Okay, so with this card, I'm feeling similar energy from the Knight of Swords with thinking about confronting or talking to someone about something. But there's a fear or a lack of motivation to do so. And I actually feel a lot of you want to apologize and clear the air with someone. In the episode, Kevin does avoid Becky for the most part, but he does eventually confront her and tells her he's sorry for hurting her. And when we apologize to someone, it does help to cleanse the energy. While we can't control if another person forgives or apologizes to us or not, apologizing is a step in the right direction to make a wrong right. So if you've been wanting to apologize to someone for something, Spirit is saying to go for it. And if you're not able to speak to the person in question, this is also something you can do energetically as well. It works the same exact way. You can also do the forgiveness prayer, Ho'oponopono, which will shift the energy in a powerful way, in a very healing way. So basically, you just simply set an intention for what you would like to heal within yourself and repeat the following. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. For me personally, I like to listen to the prayer on a YouTube video after setting my intention. But whatever works for you, roll with it. Your next card is the Knight of Cups. Okay, so the Knight of Cups is a card that advises you to follow your heart. Perhaps it's time to communicate how you really feel about a certain relationship or a situation in your life. I'm also feeling friendships as well. In the episode, I'm being shown Paul, played by Josh Shaviano, when he confronts Kevin next to the lockers at school. He's mad at Kevin, but ultimately he doesn't want to lose him as a friend. And they have been friends for a long time. So Spirit is saying to look at your relationship or friendship as a whole. Has there been a repeating pattern of deception? Is this something you've already addressed in the relationship? Has anything changed? I'm hearing that phrase, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And also, how do you feel when you're around this person? Do you feel uplifted and good about yourself? Or do you feel negative emotions? Your emotions will tell you everything you need to know. And all the answers are within you and your heart. All you have to do is listen. Your last card is the Magician. Ultimately, this is a very creative time for you, pile number 1. Spirit is saying one of the best things you can do when handling negative emotions or healing heartbreak is to channel that energy into something creative. Creativity has the power to heal us in very profound ways. The Magician also brings the message of being a powerful manifester. You hold all the keys to creating the life you want. In the episode, the song My Girl by The Temptations plays, and I'm hearing that lyric, I'd guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way? So when it comes to manifesting, the feeling is the secret. And when we work on something that brings us joy and happiness, it puts us into a powerful energy of bringing what we want into our reality. I'm also drawn to the band name, The Temptations. And the Magician can be someone who abuses their power for personal gain. So if you have been tempted back into a cycle that you've already closed the door on, Spirit is saying to stay strong and remember what that cycle brought into your life in the past. You've come too far to go back to something you've already risen above, pile number 1. Wow. Those are your messages, pile number 1, from the episode Nemesis from the Wonder Years. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed the reading, if it resonated, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Thank you again. I love you all so much, and I will see you on the next video. Bye. Hey, pile number 2, welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you are here. Your episode from the Wonder Years is from Season 4, Episode 3, and it's called The Journey. Starring Fred Savage, Josh Saviano, Michael Tricario, and Brandon Crane. And the synopsis for this episode says, hearing that some 10th grade girls are having a slumber party, Kevin, Paul, and the guys travel across town in the dark to try and get in on the action. Okay, pile number 2, let's see what your cards have to say. And disclaimer, there will be spoilers that come through the reading, so if you've not seen this episode of The Wonder Years, just be mindful of that as we move forward. And also, a lot of very general messages come through, so If you find something doesn't resonate for you, don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. Your first card is, my energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. Okay, so in the very beginning of this episode, Kevin Arnold, played by Fred Savage, is in gym class. And the gym teacher, Coach Cutlip, played by Robert Picardo, is giving the boys a speech on how to play a game called Death Ball. The boys have to walk across a balance beam while the other boys throw balls at them, trying to knock them off. When it's Kevin's turn, he gets hit with a ball and falls off the balance beam. So Spirit is showing me how it's important to focus on things going right instead of them going wrong. Like the card states, our energy creates our reality, and what we focus on is what we will manifest. So if we keep focusing on a reality where we are failing in life, that is what will manifest as our beliefs, thoughts, and emotions contribute to creating our reality. Visualize yourself winning and prospering and speak victory over yourself. I'm also being drawn to the balance beam itself. Spirit is saying to bring balance into every area of your life. And if you get knocked down, you're someone who gets back up again. Remember that you are the main character of your life pile number 2. Also in the episode, Kevin keeps talking about war. And when he's walking across the balance beam, the song War by Edwin Starr is playing. And one of the lyrics is, war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. And it just keeps repeating that. So this is another reiteration from Spirit to be mindful of what words you're putting out in the universe. As light workers, we came here to help create a better world. We want to move away from realities that contain war. And one way to do that is to not focus on the realities where it does exist. This doesn't mean to turn a blind eye to the negative. It means to focus on the reality where people are saying no to war, one where they are laying down their swords and refusing to fight one another anymore. This is how we rise together with the power of our thoughts, minds, and beliefs. Your next card is, I honor how I want to feel. Okay, so all emotions are valid, and this is something that I will continue to reiterate until the day I die. All emotions are valid. And this includes not filling up for doing certain things. In the episode, Kevin is having a sleepover with some friends in a tent in his backyard. One of his friends, Walter McCafferty, played by John Anthony, brings some beer and asks the rest of them to go crash a slumber party. And Kevin is the only one who is hesitant and tries to talk the guys out of it. He ends up caving, and nothing seems to work out for them on this journey they go on. So the message here from Spirit is to pay attention to your feelings. If you don't genuinely want to do something, then don't do it. Honor how you feel. Spirit is also showing me instances of saying yes to something that you wanted to say no to in the first place. And then once you're out and about, there's this feeling that arises like, well, I should have just stayed home. I know that's definitely happened to me more than once. And if something isn't a hell yes for you, that means it's a hell no. So honor that pile number 2. Honor how you want to feel in any given situation. Your next card is the Hierophant in reverse. So with this card, there's an energy of feeling confined or constrained by something, or too many rules or structures being imposed on someone. But mostly, this card discusses the importance of making sure that you're always doing what's right for you at any given moment. So this message goes along with the last one of honoring how you want to feel. And what's right for us isn't always what's right for someone else. So Spirit is showing me how you want to break free from something. And I'm sensing a person or even a friend group that feels out of alignment for you. And I feel like a lot of judgment and control here. I'm hearing things like, you're so lame, or telling you that you think you're too good to hang out or be around them. In the episode, Kevin dealt with a lot of this from his friends, and he just wanted to have a fun campout night. But he continuously tries to be the voice of reason, and at first they tell him he's right. Until Kevin's brother Wayne, played by Jason Hervey, crashes their campout, confiscates their beer, and demands to know what the address is of the slumber party. Paul, played by Josh Saviano, gives Wayne the address so he will leave them alone. But then we find out he gave Wayne the wrong address. He gives him the address to his uncle's house. So this is when Kevin changes his mind and they set out to crash the slumber party. So ultimately, we cannot control what other people do. We can only control how we respond and what we do. So Spirit is also bringing through a message of letting go of trying to get people to do the right thing. The best thing we can do sometimes is to meet people where they are, bring acceptance, and detach with love when necessary. This doesn't mean to stop, being the voice of reason, speak your truth, but if you're, getting that resistance, that is typically an indication to, back off. So detaching is necessary, especially if you're being ridiculed for not doing things you don't want to do. So continue to speak your truth and do what's right for you, even if it's not what's right for someone else. Next card is the Nine of Swords in reverse. I really love seeing this card in the reverse position because it brings a message of hope and healing from fears and anxieties. I see you're in a place right now where you are ready to heal. I also see a lot of you are starting to use affirmations to reprogram your subconscious mind. You may also be experiencing an increase in painful emotions coming up because as we start to do the healing on pain that has been repressed in our body, it starts coming up to be felt very rapidly. And in the episode, Kevin, Paul, Walter, Doug, played by Brandon Crane, and Randy, played by Michael Tricario, start encountering many challenges as they head to the slumber party. They attempt to wait for a bus that completely drives past them, forcing them to walk. Paul's allergies start acting up, and Kevin breaks one of the very last 2 bottles of beer that they have. So Spirit is showing me how you've been through a lot of things in your life that have required bravery and courage. But Spirit also wants you to know that bravery also comes with allowing yourself to be vulnerable. It is not a weakness to feel your pain. It is not a weakness to cry. People who allow themselves to feel all their emotions, no matter what, are the strongest people in the world. We've been taught that crying is a weakness and that we must put on a strong face to endure the pain. And this is simply not authentic. Not to mention, it keeps the pain within the body, which can manifest into painful physical symptoms. Crying and feeling releases the pent-up emotion from the body and brings healing. So the painful emotions coming up for you right now, it's a good thing because it's an opportunity to feel them and let them go once and for all. Holding on to pain can also lead to manifesting negative experiences. Spirit is also bringing through a message of not trying to override the negative emotions with positive ones. And this is because we cannot force ourselves to feel something that we genuinely are not feeling. Whatever emotions are coming up, Allow yourself to sit with it and feel it. Then, when you feel ready, you can do something to help shift your energy, such as listening to music you love, exercising, or whatever helps put a smile on your face. Your next card is Lost and Found. On the bottom here it says, what was once lost is about to be found, thanks to the Lost and Found fairy. Sometimes she can help us find things we never even realized were lost. Okay, so with this card, I'm drawn to the word lost here. But I'm feeling this is a sense of feeling lost within oneself. I hear a lot of questions and self-reflection taking place. And some of you very well could have lost something tangible recently as well. And this card brings the message that what was once lost will be found. Perhaps some of you even feel like you've lost your strength, or even feel like the good old days are lost. I feel like some of you had a lot of really fun adventures with childhood friends. I see you enjoyed getting into mischief and sneaking out, and how you have many fun stories you like to share with people. At the end of the episode, Kevin and his friends make it to Donna Pescarelli's house. Kevin knocks on the window, and the girls open the blinds only to say, "Ugh, it's just a bunch of ninth graders." And then Donna's dad comes out and yells at the boys and they run off. But all the way home, they are laughing about the adventure they had. Their journey wasn't perfect, but it created a memory that they still laugh about today. Your memories of these adventures that you had are not lost. And I also feel some of you reconnecting with some old friends would help, some of those memories resurface to prove to you that they were never lost, And sometimes it just takes a valued friend to help you remember them in order to find them once more. And what we do in the present moment now matters as well, because today will eventually, someday, be in the past. What good memories are you creating today? Because every moment matters, pile number 2. Your next card is Magical Blessings. And on the bottom, whatever you're going through, you're being assisted by magical fairy blessings. The fairies say you can bless others too. Okay, so things might be challenging for you right now, but blessings are coming in. I'm also being shown how you've been blessed and protected your whole life. You've made it through every challenge life has thrown at you, pile number 2. You're a survivor and a warrior. Don't forget the strength you've had to tap into to get you through the difficult times. This time is no different. That strength never left you. I'm also drawn to the angel fairies on the card here. This represents the shield of magic and protection around you. In the episode, Kevin and his friends go through many challenges trying to make it to this slumber party. But it's like they're protected every step of the way. Going on the journey proved to them how strong they are. And they get to a point on their journey where they want to give up. And they start blaming each other for all the things getting in the way for them not being able to make it to the slumber party. Paul eventually interrupts their arguing and says, "We are not giving up. We are going to keep going. Not because we have to or even because we want to." Paul was a leader in this moment to his group of friends. And Spirit is showing me Paul's strength as a metaphor for your strength. Remember your strength and how protected and blessed you are. What would you do if you truly believed and saw how supported and protected you are? The sky isn't even your limit, my friend. Your next card is the Empress. So with this card, I'm hearing Walter's mother. In the episode, it never actually shows her. But after Kevin accidentally breaks one of the bottles of beer, Walter says there is only one thing left for them to do. He tells them they can go to his house and he will grab some beer from his fridge. The other boys wait in the garage and they create a signal of cuckoo, cuckoo to watch out for anyone coming. Once Walter's in the house, they start cuckooing so loud that it wakes up Walter's mom. We can hear her scolding and grounding Walter. And he never returns to the group of boys. So Spirit is showing me strong parental figures here who want the best for their children. Perhaps you're in the season of life where your children are rebelling and sneaking out while having adventures like you used to. Or you had parents who reacted the same way. Spirit is showing me how some of you are having a hard time getting through to your children, and it's causing a lot of frustration. Spirit is saying to meet them where they are while still having boundaries. And I am not a parent, but I'm hearing from Spirit that it's okay to make mistakes with parenting. And often, those are how we learn to navigate life the best. I'm also hearing that sharing some of your adventures and mistakes would help you to relate to your children more. This is how you can meet them where they are. And it will show them how you're not a perfect human being, as none of us are. We are all doing the best we can with the knowledge we have at any specified time on our journey. Your last card is the Emperor in reverse. So this card comes with the message of keeping an open mind. In the episode, there's one scene where the boys think a cop is chasing them. They all jump into some bushes to hide, only to realize it was just a station wagon driving by. And it's funny that they jumped in some bushes because the tiger on this card is surrounded by bushes. So what Spirit is saying is, by remaining flexible in all situations, pile number 2, you'll find that things aren't always what they seem. Make sure to have all the facts before jumping to conclusions. Our perception can cause us to see and believe lies. And painful past experiences can cause us to close off our hearts and not trust anyone, thus leading to controlling everything in order to protect ourselves and people we love. The thing is, pile number 2, is that the world needs your heart open. You're here to help in a unique way that only you know how to do. But if your heart is closed, you can't let the people, resources, or blessings in to assist in your mission. It's safe to open up, let go of control, and allow yourself to receive. You are so loved. Beautiful, beautiful reading, pile number 2. I love that. Wow. Thank you. Those are your messages from the episode of Wonder Years, The Journey. If you enjoyed the reading, if it resonated, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all so much, and I will see you on the next video. Bye. Hey, pile number 3, welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you are here. Your episode from the Wonder Years is from Season 6, Episode 22, and it stars Fred Savage and Danica McKellar. And the synopsis says, Kevin's anticipated summer of romance fizzles when Winnie reacts less than enthusiastically towards his surprise arrival. Okay, pile number 3, let's see what your cards have to say. And disclaimer, spoilers will come through the reading, so if you've not seen this episode, just be mindful of that as we move forward. And also a lot of very general messages come through, so if you find something doesn't resonate for you, don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. Your first card is, when I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. You know, I love how the title of this episode is Independence Day. And the flower on this card even looks like some beautiful blue fireworks. The color blue also reminds me of the throat chakra. So I feel some of you have just spoken your truth about something. And it feels like a very heated discussion, just like fireworks exploding. And I feel the energy of some of you having done this. It was done through text messaging. And now there's like this waiting period taking place. Or perhaps you're waiting for a response from something, even if it wasn't a text message. Or even waiting for the outcome or resolution of something. Regardless, there's this energy of waiting. This episode from the Wonder Years is actually the very last one in the series. So I do feel the ending of something is taking place. And it's been challenging. Spirit is showing me how Kevin Arnold, played by Fred Savage, he confronts Winnie Cooper, who is played by Danica McKellar in the episode. He's very angry, and he tells her that he saw her kissing another guy. They're actually both working at this resort where Kevin is a server and Winnie is a lifeguard at the pool. And he confronts her at the pool. And when this happens, she also gets very angry at Kevin for spying on her. And she ends up pushing him into the pool. So that heated energy and anger is something I feel very strongly for you, pal number 3. The card states, when I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. So perhaps speaking your truth is the part Spirit is referring to with surrender. Speaking our truth is a form of surrender if it's not something we are used to doing. So if you spoke up about how you feel about something that's been bottled inside, commend yourself, as it takes guts to do that. The awesome thing is that once you do it, it gets a little bit easier to do the next time, and so on. But Spirit is also saying to surrender more, to let go more. And with Kevin and Winnie in the Wonder Years, their relationship was never easy. They fought all the time. But they really did love each other, and this is why it was so hard for them to let go of each other. So I'm also feeling that some karmic soul contracts are coming to an end for some of you. And karmic soul contracts are ones that teach us the most difficult lessons. They are also difficult to let go of. At the pool, before Winnie pushes Kevin into the pool, she starts to walk away from him and he grabs her arm. She yells at him to let her go. So Spirit is saying to surrender and let go with a situation that is taking place for you. Kevin and Winnie just kept hurting each other because they kept hanging on. And this is the perfect example of how holding on hurts more than letting go sometimes. Next card says, the moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. Okay, so shortly after their fight at the pool, Kevin gets fired from the resort. So he packs up his belongings and hitchhikes to go home. A car stops for him, and he finds Winnie is in the car too. She too had been fired from the resort. They keep arguing to the point where the couple who picked them up kick them both out. And they're both left standing next to the side of the road with their luggage. They start fighting again, and they both throw each other's luggage into the middle of the road where a truck runs over it. After this happens, they start walking until it begins to rain. and they find shelter in a barn. But by this time, they are both in a more peaceful place where they can speak to each other without fighting. So whatever difficulty you're facing right now, pile number 3, Spirit is saying to embrace your peace and not to let anything steal your peace. You can speak your truth without your peace being stolen. And when we are in a place of peace, we communicate more effectively, and it's easier to perceive situations more clearly. This card also brings another message of surrender and how the universe can truly get to work once that surrender takes place. But if we keep trying to force outcomes or hang on to something that wants to leave our life, the highest good outcome can't come in. And sometimes we hold on to something that isn't healthy for us because we believe that is what we deserve. And that's not true. We all deserve healthy relationships and unconditional love. But we can't manifest that unless we honestly believe we deserve it. It's time to claim your highest good, my friend. But there's something you must surrender and let go of to let it come in. Your next card is the Four of Swords. This card is all about resting and taking a break from something. This could also point to a potential breakup or ending of some sort. Like the energy from the last card, this card indicates taking a rest to return to your peace. And if you've been in a situation where fights have been constant, this card can mean laying down the swords and refusing to fight anymore. I feel an energy of recognizing an unhealthy cycle and feeling tired of it for some of you. This episode is solely focused on Kevin's relationship with Winnie, but there's also a little side story where Kevin is in an argument with his father, Jack Arnold, played by Daniel Loria. And at the very end of the episode, he reconciles with his dad, and they sit at the kitchen table while talking and laughing. So perhaps some of you have been in an argument with a family member and are tired of fighting. Daniel Stern also narrates the adult version of Kevin, and he talks about how his dad Jack died a few years later. So Spirit is bringing through a message of how life is short and how it's important to spend time with family while we can. I send this message with discernment, however, because there are some family situations where it's best to detach and not spend time together. And this would be in the case where abuse and violence are involved. So the Four of Swords can also bring a message of saving your breath for people who don't hear the words you speak. I feel a very specific message coming through for those of you who have tried to spiritually awaken your family and friends. And you know what? I did the exact same thing. I tried to red pill everyone, and I met so much resistance. It was like no one heard what I was saying, and I felt very alone. I ultimately learned that not everyone has chosen to awaken in this lifetime, and how it's important to respect that. This doesn't mean to not share your messages. It means to continue to share your messages, knowing that the people who are meant to receive them will. We can't force people to receive messages that aren't ready for them. One thing that has worked for me is to speak my truth and gauge the energy. You can tell immediately if someone wants to hear more, as they will ask more questions. If they don't continue the conversation or change the subject, I know that's my cue to drop it. So, Spirit is saying to take a rest at this time from fighting, from trying to force an outcome, or even from a relationship. Next card is the Page of Cups in reverse. This card can indicate a block to creativity at this time. And if that's the case for you, pile number 3, Spirit is saying to tap into the joy that your creative projects bring you. When we focus on the joy that our creativity and passions bring us, it helps put us into a flow state. I'm also hearing, if you're feeling emotionally vulnerable at this time, that channeling that energy into a creative project or passion can bring healing and deep insights. I also feel an energy of becoming hyper aware of insecurities, or someone pointing these out in a negative way. In the episode, Kevin's emotions are very highly charged. He's angry at his father and deeply hurt by seeing Winnie kissing another guy. And when he fights with both of them, his insecurities are mirrored to him. Our outer world is always a reflection of our inner world. And once you learn to observe it without reacting to it, you learn how powerful of a creator you are. The Page of Cups can also indicate doing some inner child work. Often our deepest insecurities stem from something hurtful we experienced in childhood. And you can have a conversation with your inner child anytime you wish. Give them the love you may not have received as a child. Tell them you'll always be there for them. And when you do this, you may find you have some amazing sparks of ideas that come to you through dreams or visions, or you may just have an inner knowing to do something. If this happens, it means your inner child is starting to feel safe with you, and deep healing is taking place. Also, you can connect with your inner child by doing things you loved doing as a child. Maybe that's roller skating or sliding down a slide. Let your inner child out to play, as taking things seriously all the time can really take a toll on us. Your next card is Temptation. And on the bottom it says, are you in denial about an unhealthy habit, perhaps one that makes you feel guilty? This fairy says you have the power to overcome temptation, whatever its guise. Okay, so with karmic cycles, temptation is bound to take place. As you start to heal and break free from unhealthy cycles that have played on repeat, opportunities arise that will try to pull you back into the cycle. In the episode, Kevin is playing a game of poker with a group of guys he works with at the resort. He is sure he has a winning hand, and he bets his car. And it turns out, every guy at the table actually has a better hand than Kevin, and he loses his car. So, I do feel an energy of gambling for some of you. And gambling can certainly be fun, and I myself enjoy playing slots from time to time. But if gambling, a relationship, or some other addiction has been taken too far to the point where everything is lost, this is definitely a cycle to look into, making changes when you're ready to do so. If you've already made the decision to walk away from something that no longer serves you, there's so much strength in making that decision alone. So if temptation is coming up to pull you back in, remember the strength you pulled from to walk away in the first place. And if you do succumb to temptation, don't be hard on yourself. Sometimes we have to learn hard lessons repeatedly until they really sink in with us. And I had something similar happen to me recently. It took me a very long time to let go of a toxic relationship, 15 years to be exact. I started to do past life healing with forgiveness, and a couple days later I went to the pet store with my boyfriend. Right in the entrance was a snake in a glass case. One of the workers came over and told us the name of the snake, and it was the exact name of the person I was working on breaking the soul contract with. I didn't realize it was a warning of temptation from my spirit guides because later that night, my phone blew up with phone calls and text messages from this person that I had not heard from in about 10 years. So, in the past, I totally would have caved and responded to him. But because of the healing I've done on my heart and myself, I felt absolutely nothing. I ended up deleting the messages and blocked the number. So when you start healing, the past may revisit you to see if you're truly ready to let go. And how you respond will show you if you are. Your next card is New Beginnings. And on the bottom it says, this fairy godmother heralds the joyous news of a new baby or the birth of a cherished idea. Protect and nurture your ideas as you would a baby. Yes, pile number 3. This is very exciting. This is new energy that wants to come in for you right now. So letting go and surrendering is very essential at this time. At the end of the episode, Daniel Stern is narrating how Winnie goes on to work abroad in Paris and how Kevin sends her a letter every week for 8 years. Then when she returns, Kevin introduces her to his wife and child. And Kevin's sister, Karen Arnold, played by Olivia d'Abo, also has a baby at the end as well. And there's also a baby on the card here. So perhaps some of you are expecting a child soon, or this is something that will happen in the future soon. The card also says the birth of a cherished idea. So some of you will have a spark of inspiration for an idea that you're very passionate about. And Spirit is saying to protect your ideas and passions with all of your heart as you would a baby. That's how important your dreams are. And travel may be taking place as I'm drawn to how Winnie went to Paris to explore art. So this is a very exciting time for a new beginning in your life, and it's stemming from walking away from what no longer serves you. We always call in beautiful new energy when doing so. Your next card is the Four of Cups. With this card, Spirit is showing me the importance of reconnecting to the aspects of your life that you find fun and leave you feeling pure happiness. Also, at the very end, Kevin talks about his entire family and friends, one of which was Paul, played by Josh Saviano. And Kevin talks about how he goes on to be a lawyer, but also about all the good times they had as kids. This could be a great time to connect with a childhood friend. I see some of you have some that made you laugh so hard that you cried, pile number 3. And that type of connection doesn't go away. Yes, we change as people as we grow older and get serious type jobs, but there's always that one friend that knows how to bring out the fun again. Some of you may reconnect with an old friend at this time, or Spirit is saying it's a great time to reach out to your friend to do so. And your last card is the Seven of Wands. This card implies there's tough competition with something, or the need to hold firm to boundaries you've set around something. In the beginning, Kevin felt like he was in competition with another guy for Winnie's affection. Perhaps this is the same case for you. I'm also drawn to the evil queen on the card here. So some of you may be having arguments with a mother, stepmother, or even a mother-in-law. Whoever this person is, it's like they have this energy of, I can do this better than you. Or just always trying to one-up or compete. As a collective, we are moving away from the negative energy of competition and comparing ourselves to others. The negative side of competition comes from a wound in childhood. It was a program where we learned that we were only good enough if we had the best of everything, or won at absolutely everything, or did the best at everything. So, if someone comes at you with this energy, it's their wounds talking. And when you come into this understanding, it's easier to have compassion and forgive. But it's also important to stick firm with your boundaries with people who do this, because they are operating from a place where they think they know what's best. Sure, see if there is validity to what they're saying, but ultimately, you gotta do what's best for you and not what someone is saying is the best for you. What's right for someone isn't always right for everyone. Whew, wow, pile number 3, that is all that I am seeing. Those are your messages from the episode of Wonder Years called Independence Day. If your reading resonated, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all so much, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.